Hi, my name is Nate Gilbert. I'm an attorney in Texas, and today I want to talk about the structure of a series LLC. So we've talked about forming them, we've talked about how to name them, all that sort of stuff. But what does the structure actually look like? So when you have a series LLC, what does it mean? Do you have a whole bunch of LLCs? Do you have a parent and a subsidiary? And not really. The parent subsidiary words get thrown around when you talk about series LLC because it is such a good illustration of what it looks like. It is not a true parent-subsidiary relationship. So when we have a parent or subsidiary corporation, the parent corporation is a major shareholder or the majority shareholder in the subsidiary corporation. Okay, so that's how a parent-subsidiary corporation relationship looks. But with a series LLC, the individual series that are underneath it are not necessarily membership shareholder relationships. So for a series LLC, you form the series LLC with the Texas Secretary of State. That is your parent LLC, okay, the series LLC itself. You form that, that is your LLC. When you are looking to acquire more property, you have a piece of property you want to put into a series. You say, okay, well, I need to create this series. What does that look like? What that is a genuine little LLC underneath your main series LLC. Now, unless you're filing registered series, this is not filed with the Texas Secretary of State. You file this with your own operating agreement. So the series LLC is who forms that series. Does that make sense? Where we have the series LLC, then we have a little series underneath it. And we can have many of these little series. So we have Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, Series 5. If we look at Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3, these little series can be made up of any members that we have in the original series or any other additional members. So if myself and my brother formed a series LLC, in the first series, we could be partners in a project. So I could be a 70% member and he's a 30% member of Series 1 of our Series LLC. Okay? In the second one, let's say it's my personal property and I'm going to put that property into Series 2 of this Series LLC. And I'm 100% owner. My brother isn't in this one. He's in Series 1, but he's not in Series 2. I'm 100% owner of the property that's in Series 2. And Series 3 is his personal property. He's 100% owner in Series 3, and I'm not in Series 3. Okay, so for the purposes of liability and asset protection, those individual series are as good as regular LLCs where you might have them held individually in separate LLCs that are all registered with the Texas Secretary of State. If I have a liability that occurs on my property in Series 2 that I own 100% of, my brother that's a partner in Series 1 and a partner and sole owner in Series 3, he's not going to feel any liability on his assets because of the liability I'm experiencing on mine in Series 2. So you can set those up in different ways. So you have your big series LLC like we talked about, right? So you got the first series. That's the one that's registered with the Texas Secretary of State. That's the one that has all the LLC paperwork, the operating agreement, corporate governance documents, all that. If you form an LLC, you form one before, you know what that looks like. The individual series then have little mini operating agreements that are referential to the parent operating agreement. And say basically incorporate by reference. Okay, so unless we change something in here, it's just going to be the rule that's in the original operating agreement. And that's kind of the way the structure looks. And it's a very abstract concept and it's difficult to understand unless you're seeing it when you're forming that series LLC, and then it all kind of clicks. Once you've seen it, it's like, oh, I completely understand now. So if you're still a little bit confused, don't feel bad. It was confusing for me when I was first learning about these way back when. So don't feel bad, you're in great company when you're looking at these series LLCs and being a little confused. It's not very straightforward. That's why I always recommend getting an attorney involved who is familiar with series LLCs and not just familiar with LLCs, but familiar with series LLCs. Series LLCs are their own little beast, and they can present many, many problems when you're working on the structure, the naming conventions, all that kind of stuff. When it comes down to it, it's going to have different implications depending on risk profiles. So when I'm talking with clients about what kind of maintenance is required on these, we talk about risk profiles. If you are solely invested in things like single family residential, that has a separate risk profile. It's got less liability exposure than, say, a commercial building or strip mall, or even apartments where you've got 45 units. You've got different liability exposure there. So we might want to do different things in our series versus putting things in their own LLC that aren't series, just because we want to make sure that those are completely separated and it makes a little more sense accounting wise. So that's something that we'll have to discuss when I work with clients looking to form series LLCs. But the structure itself, it's difficult to explain. I've tried to go through it as much as best I can in illustrating kind of the parent and subsidiary relationship, but not a parent-subsidiary relationship. So if you have any more questions, reach out to an attorney, speak with them, figure out if that's the way you want to go when you're thinking about your real estate investment portfolio and how you want to structure your series LLCs in Texas.